subscribe, and ring the bell.
Of the stained glass in the chapel. I should really finish painting those fishing nets. Look at Bobai, just staring there like he's pondering the mysteries of the tide. Does he think Wilson needs a new set of painted eyes? Remember that first smoky beacon I lit? It felt like a miracle, a tiny flame against the endless blue nothingness. Marvelous Bobai, you move through the shallows like a shadow draped in emerald velvet. Blast it all, this damp earth feels like it's actively conspiring against my very existence right now. I'll wrestle free of this muck, blast it, like a titan freeing himself from swamp reeds. Heavens, this curtain of rain feels like the ocean itself weeping over my little patch of paradise. I wonder if Bobai finds this gray curtain as damp as I do. Little Misha trotted past just now, reminding me of the day I first mapped out the boundary stones for the East Garden. I remember hauling those wet, gray rocks up from the tide line, each one a struggle against the sucking mud. I sorted them all, stone by tedious stone, and kept rejecting 17 poor fellows because their angles were too lazy, too structurally impolite for a proper wall. By sunset, my arms ached, but the sight of that neat, dry line standing against the scrub made every ache worthwhile. It felt like drawing a firm border between my small patch of hope and the vast, indifferent ocean beyond. Cursed this muddy grip. The island itself has ensnared me in its wet, clinging maw. Like some swamp monster, I cannot heave myself from this muck, Wilson. This perfect sun feels like it was painted just for the perfect, impossible cup of coffee I never got to drink. Crimson tide pools shimmer near Azusa, catching the sun-like scattered jewels on dark glass. Passing by the hearth always makes me place 2 empty cups down, just out of habit for a slower evening. Golden sunlight spills over the beach, making the shells sparkle like scattered bits of forgotten pirate treasure. By the grace of the Lord, this wet earth clings like a vengeful sea serpent around my ankles. Wilson, I must claw my way out of this sodden trap, or I swear I shall never see the blessed sight. Spotting Bruno wander over this wet patch, he looks like a soft, woolly cloud drifted onto the green. Observing the sun creep across the sky, it reminds me that the earth itself is turning, spinning round like a great, steady top toward the east. Little Loki watches me now, just waiting, like he knows the old songs I used to hum while waiting for the next scheduled thing. 3 blasts, 3 fires in a triangle, that's the signal, isn't? Shoulders slump under the weight of the damp air, making my bones ache like old shipyard timbers. I really miss the sound of the evening news theme song playing softly from a set. Heavens, this cheating drizzle makes my makeshift roof feel like a soggy pastry crust threatening to collapse. Do you think the sea keeps its secrets even when it rains like this, bold friend? Sparrow darts through the undergrowth now, looking quite damp indeed. Seems like even the little birds are getting caught in this watery curtain. Dampness drips from every leaf now, making the entire little village look like a watercolor painting left out in the mist. We are almost ready for some proper company to admire this fine work. Little crab scurries near the wet tide, looking quite lost in all this gray curtain. Praying this rain passes soon so I can finally test my watertight bucket. Fog clings low today, making the whole beach look like a forgotten watercolor wash. Perhaps a giant SOS made of bleached driftwood will catch an eye through this damp curtain. Well, reaches just beyond the surf, a majestic gray shadow in the murk. Good morning to you, friend. You move through this fog like a living mountain. Seeing Daisy wander through the fog, she moves like a phantom thread across the damp grass. You must have wandered out of the mist, girl. Blast this clinging sludge. It grips my ankles like the devil's own wet net, Wilson. I swear by my last remaining nail, I shall rip myself free of this miserable, watery jail. Never before did I feel the strange ache for the smell of hot coal smoke mixing with the salt spray. Peppa, look at you waddling through this white blanket. You seem quite unfazed by the falling snow. Bison grazes near the smoke drift, munching on something that looks entirely too green for this pale morning. You have such a calm way of ignoring all this falling snow. Look at those two foxes chasing each other. It's a real spectacle of terrestrial athleticism. They must be arguing over the best patch of untouched snow, I wager. Cold bites right through the woven reeds. I wonder if Suki can even see past this falling white curtain. Stars prick the velvet black canvas above, like spilled sugar across the deepest ink. Nothing moves but the slow, patient lapping of the tide against the sand. Perhaps Tofu thinks this whole island is just one giant, sun-warmed dinner plate for him. Tonight the vast ocean mirrors the black velvet overhead. So many distant pinpricks of lights just like the ones I keep tucked away. The fire crackles low, casting dancing shadows against the makeshift shelter walls. I remember once, back when the city roared and the clocks never slept, a carnival. We were walking through the stalls, the air thick with spun sugar and sawdust. Suddenly, a flash of bright, unnatural blue caught my eye, like a trapped piece of the summer sky. It was a peacock feather, shed by some magnificent bird, and it lay perfect against the dusty ground. We stopped just to look at that impossible blue until someone nudged me, reminding me that we still had a show to see. Curse the sticky mud. It has snagged me like a spider's silk net. Wilson. Luna the pig just stared at me like I was a particularly entertaining piece of mud. Curious parrot flaps near the coals, cocking its head like it's weighing up the very worth of this bonfire. You certainly have an opinion on the quality of my evening arrangements, don't you? Hey there, Lola. You walk through these tall grasses like a whisper of the forest itself. What a deep, star-dusted blanket covers everything tonight, making the vast black water seem like spilled ink. Blast this earth. It has gripped my ankle like the claw of some subterranean leviathan. I must rip free, for my life hangs by this one frayed root of muscle. Crimson threads of this cold dirt bite into my flesh like the teeth of some hungry kraken. I swear this ground is actively trying to swallow me whole, Wilson. Frost dusts the wood grain of the shelter. I feel the chill seep right into the marrow of my bones. Seems the whole world is turning into a breath of frozen smoke tonight. Oh, look at Tina. She moves through the falling snow like a ghost wrapped in winter silk. Tiny tracks in the fresh powder show a little creature passing by. Maybe the little bird is looking for some misplaced crumbs. Perhaps if I pile these damp logs higher, we can make a beacon visible even through this curtain of white nothing. Nico, you stand so still, like a walking piece of moonlight right here beside me. You make this fog feel a little less empty, you know. Shoulder deep in this damp fog, I know bedding down on dry leaves beats a hard patch of earth anytime. Lullaby the llama seems quite content just munching near the improving edge of our little village. Remember when I first danced around that fire? It felt like the sun bursting out of my own chest. Such a grand spectacle, don't you think? Tomorrow, I will stack every piece of driftwood into the shape of a colossal letter S on the western beach. If we cannot be found, then we shall simply become a monument to our own magnificent absence. Water beads on my skin like cold, insistent tears. Even Rocky seems hunkered down against this gray curtain. Listen to this downpour, Wilson. It sounds like 1,000 tiny hands drumming a strange, sad rhythm on the thatch. Might this whole place be one giant, damp bathtub, and me the last splash of forgotten soap? Keep polishing your painted smile, old friend. You're the best company a shipwrecked man could ask for. Dripping from the leaves, the rain sounds like someone emptying a vast, leaky tin roof all over my makeshift home. Curiosity whispers that if I stack enough of these wet logs high enough, we could send smoke straight up to the heavens. Perhaps a giant SOS spelled out in flaming sticks will catch the eye of any passing freighter. Surely this persistent drizzle will never cease. It makes the whole island feel like one giant, damp bath for the lonely. Ruddy the crocodile watches me now, like he expects me to jumbo coconuts to entertain him all night. You know, I had a dream last night, right as the rain started to whisper its wet song. It wasn't about logs or reefs, but about a clock ticking away in a grand hall, the polished brass gleaming under chandeliers. I was rushing through crowds, carrying dozens of small, brightly wrapped parcels, each one addressed to a different life waiting on the other side. I remember the specific scent of cheap perfume mixed with oil leather clinging to the passing strangers. Then, the noise just died, a sudden, awful vacuum, and I found myself standing in a silent square, the clock face frozen forever on the quarter hour. Peppa the chicken wanders right by, pecking at something wet near the tide line. You always find the best scraps, don't you? Mist hangs so thick here, Wilson. I can barely see the coconut palms swaying beyond my boots. The rain really seems determined to wash the very color from everything today. I almost missed the sharp, bright glare of the afternoon sun bouncing off the polished brass of the town clock back home. I wonder if I can fashion a little window frame for the lean-to, something that mimics the view from that parlor window. It would let in just a sliver of structured light. Mile of the llama stares right at me, as if the earth itself has decided to snag my ankle on its cruel, muddy tongue. I swear this very ground mocks my desperate efforts to simply get free. Stuck fast like a beetle in amber sap, I feel the very earth conspiring to keep me trapped here, Wilson. I shall dig through this stubborn dirt until my bones ache and the dawn breaks. The stubborn root. It grips my ankle like a jealous sea serpent, and I swear the whole island laughs at my predicament. Glimmering here, this little plaza of mine, it needs a proper monument base, you know. Maybe a nice plaque with a name carved on it would be grand. Sparrow flutters overhead, making a perfect little V shape against the blue expanse. Such precise little wings. I wonder if they remember the thrill of a proper flock migration. Coco the giraffe grazes near the edge of the clearing. Look at the height of that creature, Wilson. Sunshine beats down hot on my neck. I must remember how the leaf mimicry works to keep my small camp unseen by any passing eye. brightly, a little crab scuttles sideways near the sand. You always keep moving when the sun is this strong, don't you? Today, I am the main attraction, the only local talent this whole patch of dirt has seen. Wilson, perhaps you should write a program for the next tourist attraction. Remember when the steamer finally spotted the smoke plume? I recall the salt spray hitting my face, stinging like 1,000 tiny needles, but the sight of that smoke made every ache worthwhile. I hope your Aunt Martha is keeping up her embroidery. I picture her needles clicking like tiny, steady metronomes. Overhead, the rain whispers against the thatch roof, sounding just like the gentle lapping of a tide returning. I remember Margaret landing there one morning, her bright coat a shocking splash of color against the drab jungle backdrop. She surveyed everything from the crude signal fire to the haphazard lean-to with such practiced, knowing eyes. Dreadfully, I feel wedged in this muddy pocket, like some unfortunate piece of wreckage caught between two great hulls. Wilson. Lola the snake just watched me, which only proves this island mocks my very ankles. Little parrot lands on the railing. You always have the best perch, even when I haven't even painted a proper little welcome sign for you. Loki the deer watches my labors with such calm curiosity. You look like you know some secret about this patch of paradise. By Jove, this mud has snagged my boot like a hangman's noose. I am quite literally trapped by the very earth itself. Alas, this wretched earth. I am utterly immobilized by this damp clod. Wilson and Lola, the snake, regards my predicament like a judge awaiting a slow spectacle. Heaven forbid I stay caught in this swampy grip. I must tear myself out, or I shall become a permanent, damp fixture of this miserable shore. Stuck like a forgotten piece of flotsam in this muck, Wilson. I swear this damp earth grips me with the tenacity of 1,000 hungry sea spiders. Oh, the sheer audacity of this terrain. It holds me fast like a barnacle on a wreck. Wilson. Ziggy the lion watches my struggle like he's reviewing a bad play. Good heavens, this ground has snagged my ankle like a fisherman's wet net. Wilson, I shall claw myself free of this muddy prison block. Swearing by the blessed mother, this muddy seam holds me like a forgotten shoelace snagged on a fence post. Wilson, I'll wrench free like a barnacle from a shipwreck hull. By the grace of the Lord, these twin foxes look like they're mocking my plight. I'm caught in this ooze like a poor man's shoelace caught on the beechweed. Jesu Christ, this earth grips me like a giant's muddy fist. I'll pull with all the strength God gave me. Wilson. Truly, this little dip in the dirt has caught me fast. Wilson, I'm marooned here like some shipwrecked idol on an altar of mud. I shall haul myself free, kicking these wretched pockets of earth until... Seeing Ruddy the zebra graze so peacefully, Wilson, it seems even the wildlife knows this patch of paradise is a blessed spot. Once, back near the dock where I stacked those salvaged timbers, I remembered a little girl's laughter, so bright it sounded like wind chimes ringing on a breezy morning. It was a sudden flash, like catching sunlight through a pane of stained glass. I thought about how quickly those carefree sounds can vanish into the vast ocean blue. The smell of salt spray mixed with the faint, sweet scent of jasmine, a memory so clear it almost made my throat ache. It taught me that the best moments, the brightest ones, are the ones you carry inside you, safe from the tide. Spotting Luna the lion wandering near the edge, Wilson, she moves with such regal grace, a true vision against the falling white flakes. Seeing a small seabird hopping near my makeshift shelter, Wilson, it reminds me of a tiny winged sermon delivered by the Almighty. Look at this drift of flakes, Wilson. We shall build a beacon visible from the heavens themselves. Perhaps we should use those salvaged ribs to prop up a signal tower, Wilson. Imagine a plume of smoke waving against the blue like a heavenly sign. I picture the smoke smelling sweetly, like burnt cedar and blessed frankincense. We'll make it so high, the very angels will spot us from their passing chariots. Great Bella the wolf is watching me from the shade, Wilson. This brilliant sunshine feels like a golden promise sent directly from heaven's own hand. Hey there, little crab. You little scuttler knows just where to dig for the plumpest little morsels, Wilson. Over by the bend, Kiwi the sheep stands so still, Wilson. His dark, thoughtful eyes watch my every move like a gentle shepherd. Jesu Christ, the little gecko basking on that warm stone looks like a misplaced emerald jewel from some forgotten altar. Near the edge of the jungle, Kiwi the boar roots through the damp earth, his little snuffling nose twitching at every promising scent. Sunshine paints the sand so bright, Wilson. It makes my bones feel warm, like basking after a long vigil. Truly, this glorious sun feels like a benediction upon the whole cove, Wilson. It makes me want to carve something grand for the coming night. Dust motes dance in this bright sunshine, Wilson. I miss the noise of a proper holiday, the sheer, happy clutter of too many people gathered close. Wonderful light spills across the beach, Wilson. It feels like the very warmth of Mother Mary's blessing upon this corner of earth. Look at those boars go, Wilson. They run like they've just been blessed by the very Spirit of the Lord. Creeping near the high tide mark, Wilson, I think a sturdy little dock would be grand, just enough to moor something proper. Emeralds gleam amongst the jungle foliage, Wilson. Hazel the chicken pecks at something shiny near the roots. Blast it all! I am truly wedged like a king in a stubborn trap. Ruddy the pig just stared, like he expected me to magically sprout extra sinew right now. Such brilliant skies overhead, Wilson. They shine down like a promise of a glorious supper coming soon. Curious how the brightest colors appear in order from red all the way to violet, Wilson. I should chart that pattern near the river mouth. Strange how the shadows stretch out so long, Wilson. They look like spilled ink across the bleached linen of the sand. Feels like the tropics sang a cheerful chorus just for me today. I should probably stack some more dry wood near the main fire pit.
Subscribe and ring the bell.